this one? Let's go over this. So, what we've got is, here's I want to write my function. I want to go 2 up. So up is that my inside or my outside? Up, down?
Outside.
Outside. So I'm going to write the function, g of x equals cube root of x, and then the outside I'm going to put up 2, so plus 2 on the outside. Next one, I'm going to go 1 unit to the left. So here's my origin, 1 unit to the left is over here. And then I'm going to graph my points. So from here I'm going to go right 1, up 1, right 8, up 2. And then from my new origin, again, I'm going to go back 1, down 1, back 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, back down 2. So it should look something along the lines of this. My new function, g of x is equal to, let's see, I've got left. Is left right on the inside or the outside? Left, right, inside or outside? Inside. So on the inside I'm going to put x. Remember, it's on, if it's on the inside, it's opposite. So x minus 1. Left means, oh, sorry, plus. Yeah. It would normally be minus, it becomes plus. Domain of the new function. These are negative infinity and positive infinity for both the domain and the range. All right. Let's take a look at the next ones down here. Okay, so here we're going to go 1 down and 3 to the left. So one from my origin, 1 down, 3 to the left. There's my new origin. This is a regular square root, so it's a squish. So it's going to be over 1, up 1. And then from the new origin over 4, up 2. From the new origin over 9, up 3. So there's my swoosh. And my new function will be g of x is equal to, let's see. So on the inside, we've got our left, right. So the inside is 3 to the left, so that's x plus 3 on the inside, and then 1 down, so on the outside it's going to be minus 1. Domain, see it starts off at negative 3, goes to infinity. And then the range, it starts off at negative 1 and goes up to infinity. Over here, we've got 2 up. So from my origin, I go up 2, and then I go 1 to the left. So this is my new origin here. And then this is a cube root, so it's the s. So it's over 1, up 1, over 8, up 2, back 1, down 1, back 8, down 2. So it's going to be this strange looking s thing. The new function, let's see here. We've got some inside and some outside. So we've got inside, that's my left, right, 1 to the left, so that means x plus 1. And we've got 2 up, so on the outside, plus 2. Domain is, for the s's are always going to be all real numbers, so negative infinity, positive infinity for both of these. Okay. Let's move on to the reflection. Okay, so we're going to reflect this in the x-axis. So x-axis is this one right? Is this one right here? Right. Reflecting across that one. So where was I? I'm normally here. Like that. I'm normally like this. So if I reflect it, where would it go? So on this spot, this one goes, instead of up 1, it goes down 1. This one, instead of going, so here my here are my 4 points. Reflect them across the x-axis, and then draw a line. Everybody reflect those 4 points, these 4 points across the x-axis. Across the x-axis. And draw your line. When I'm drawing in the image. If you've done that, then do this one also. So here it is here. We're going to reflect across the x-axis. We're going to reflect across this one.
The y-axis.
Y-axis, sorry. The y-axis, thank you. If you've done the first one, do it again. We'll reflect all these points across the y-axis. So across this line here, so they end up over here on this side over here. Pause the video until you finish this. Okay. So we'll do this one first. So it looks like these points all reflect to here. So there's my line there. I'll get to that part later. So for now, what's my new function as I reflect this? So it's across the x-axis, which means that what changes from here to here? The x's or the y's?
The y's.
The y's. So x is the same. Y becomes negative y. Everybody with me on that one, right? So that means that my y, the whole function becomes opposite in sign. So my g of x becomes, the whole function becomes negative, so it becomes negative square root of x. The whole thing becomes negative. What's my domain? It starts off at, for this left it goes is 0. What's for this right it goes? Infinity, good. And then my range is a little bit different. So now my range, what's the lowest it goes? Negative infinity. What's the highest it goes? 0. Remember you put the lowest, the smallest one first, so negative infinity is the lowest that goes first, and then 0 is the highest it goes. And again, if you, well, all right, so let's take a look at this one on the right. So these points would reflect out to here, here, there, and there. So we're looking at this. So then my new function, let's see, so here the y's are the same. The x becomes negative x. So everybody write what you think the new function is. G of x is equal to, where x becomes negative x. Okay, write in what you think it is. Everybody done with that? Everyone's done it? Okay, so my x becomes negative x. So it's just the same thing, only instead of x, I'm going to write negative x. So inside the square root, right, Ryan saw where x is, that's what becomes negative. My domain, aha, so my domain, let's see, so my domain is my left, right, so it goes all the way from forever up until that spot, it stops there. So what's my domain? What's the furthest left it goes?
Negative infinity.
Negative infinity. What's the furthest right it goes? 0. Good. And then my range. Aha, my range. Let's see. It goes, oops. Oh. It goes from here on up. All right, so what's my range?
0 to infinity.
Yep. 0, but I can't equal 0, so it's square bracket at 0 and up to infinity. Make those lighter. Is that too light? It's too light, isn't it? Okay, better? Okay. All right. We are not going to do E, so you can just skip E, that's fine. Skip. I like combining when you combine them, it just gets really complicated and annoying. Okay. So let's start with this one. Okay. So first things first, how has it been shifted? Is it on the inside or the outside?
Up 1.
Is it on the inside or the outside?
Outside.
What was that?
Outside.
Outside. It's on the outside. So the outside, is that our up down or our left right?
Up 1.
It's our up down. Everybody on board? Outside is our up down. Inside is our left right. So it's going to be what? It's on the outside. So is it up or down? Up. How many? 1. So the transformation is up 1. So draw a couple lines through here, and then up 1. So here's my original origin. Instead I'm going to go up 1. It's a square root, so I'm going to do the over 1 up 1, over 4 up 2, and draw my little swoosh. So I got to figure out what those points are. I can do that. Let's see. This first point is 0, 1. The next point would be over 1, up 1. So x goes up 1, y goes up 1. Next one, x goes up to, was it 4? 4 and 2, so x goes up 4. Y goes up 2. So 1 plus 2 is 3. And the next one goes up 9, which one becomes 1 more.
So you just add to
Yeah.
the y.
And again, you can go back to your first sheet and just look at the numbers on your first sheet. If we go back to our very first sheet, right, our Bible, we got it right here. Our x's are going up 1 each time, and then our y's are going up 1 each time. Our x's are going up 1, up 4, up 9. All right, domain. Okay, so for the domain, we're going to actually cover it in the next handout, but let's look at it. So it starts off at 0 and goes off to infinity. Here, I'll draw my little thing here. Right, there. That's domain. So this would be from 0 to infinity. Good? Okay, let's see what we got for B. Okay, so drawing our lines. Okay, everybody write down how it's been transformed. Here's my function. How has it been transformed? Is it on the inside or the outside? Inside. So how has it been transformed? So it's left, right. Which one is it, left or right? Left, because it's plus. How much? 3. So left 3. All right, everybody mark in my origin. Here's my origin. It went left 3. It ends up, boom, right there. Yeah? And square root, so find the other pieces. Over 1, up 1. Over 4, up 2. Over 9, up 3. Then graph them, mark in those points. Or your squish, mark in those points. Mark in the other 3 points. Okay, so Jenna, give me one of the points.
Negative 2, 1.
Negative 2, 1. Great. David, give me another one.
1, 2.
1, 2. Great. Shana, do you have the last one yet?
6, 3.
6, 3. Great. All right, so what's my domain? What's the furthest left I go?
-3.
Yep. -3. Furthest right is infinity. The last one we're not going to do. So the very last one, just cross that last one off in the back. What's that? Yeah, it's hard because it's minus x, so there's a reflection in there. It's just kind of weird.
Oh, I just did x minus 1.
Yeah, no, it's weird.
We're not doing C, no.
We are not doing C. Cross it out. Okay. So the next one we're going to do is going to be domain. So it looks, oops, it's not opening. Okay, domain.
Do we have a date for this homework?
Yes,
Due date?
the homework is due on Monday. What day is Monday? The 25th. Okay. All right. So here we have domain of radical functions. All right, let me simplify this for you. Bottom line is this. There are two things you can never ever do. The first thing you know before you came in here, you can never ever ever do is what? My small version. I couldn't find my larger version. What can you never ever ever do?
Divide by 0.
Divide by 0. Everybody on board? Right? The world will end if you divide by 0. You can never ever ever divide by 0. So one thing you can't do is divide by 0. You all know that coming in here. Here's the second thing you can never ever ever do. You can never take the square root of a negative number.
That make it an
It becomes imaginary.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not a real number. So you can never take the square root of a negative number. Everybody on board? 0 is fine. Square root of 0 is 0. That's no problem. But you can never take a square root of a negative number. So everybody write that down somewhere big up here. Never, you can never take square root of negative number. Cube root's fine. Cube root's totally okay. Because remember our graph, it was all real numbers. You ever remember the domain and range? So you look back at what we just did a little bit ago, right? You'll see my domain. It only goes this way, positive infinity. It does not go to negative infinity. It can't be over here. It can only be this way. So what that means is that you can't take the square root of a negative number. That means that whatever's inside, x can be negative. X can sometimes be negative, because look at this. Look. Is our x ever negative?
Yeah.
Yes. X can be negative. It's what's inside cannot be negative. Does everyone follow me? So here's my function. What's inside? X plus 3 is inside. Does everyone see what I'm saying? So this cannot be negative.
You mean it can't be x minus 3?
No. So what this means is this. X plus 3 has to be greater than or equal to 0. All right, how do I solve for x? I'll draw my little line. How do I solve for x? Subtract 3 from both sides. X, subtract 3 from both sides, I get this. Which means that what? X is greater than or equal to negative 3. Everybody on board? What's my domain? X is greater than or equal to negative 3. Boom, there you go. X is greater than or equal to negative 3. So that's what we're saying. So this is how you determine what the domain is. Domain means that whatever's inside. So what's inside of this one? Everybody write down what's inside. Everybody write down what's inside. Write it down right over here. Right here. Write down what's inside. Inside of this one. What's on the inside? It's not your question. X minus 5. Good? So did everybody write that down?
Mm-hmm.
So everyone see where it came from? It's what's inside. What's inside, x minus 5, has to be greater than or equal to what? 0. You're jumping ahead. Okay, so I'm gonna pause this and start,
How did you figure that, zero?
because whatever's inside, what's inside, has to be greater than or equal to 0, always. So whatever's inside must be, you can never, ever, ever take the square root of a
Negative number.
negative number, which means that it has to be greater than or equal to 0.
Okay.
So that's where that statement comes. That's where that stuff in red. You can never take the square root of a negative number, which means that the inside, whatever's inside the square root, I don't care about the outside. Everyone understand? I don't care about this stuff up here. Whatever's inside has to be greater than or equal to 0. Good? Now what does that mean for x? How do I solve for x?
You had 5.
Add 5. Add 5 to both sides. Everyone understand why I'm adding 5? Jenna, do you know why we're adding 5?
Yeah.
Ryan, do you know why we're adding 5?
Yeah.
Callie?
Yes.
Okay, great. So add 5 to both sides. You draw your little line straight down to keep things straight on what's on one side. X is, maybe I'll read this one, it's just one thing. X is greater than or equal to 5. That means this is my domain. So for the domain, you can either write it just like this, that's fine, or you can say x is greater than or equal to 5. Either one. Either one's okay. So this is my domain. So instead of finding our domain graphically, you can find it this way by solving. So now we're going to look at finding the domain just by solving without graphing. Slide on down. So everybody, oh, one quick comment. If it's a cube root, like this one here, what's a domain always?
Negative.
Infinity, yeah, because it's the S. It can go everywhere. It only matters if it's even here. If it's a 2 or a 4 here, or a 6, even numbers. Okay, so we're going to take just a quick, literally, I'm going to give everybody 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 minutes to solve these, and then we're going to take a break and come back. So at home, pause this until you finish.